Hey there, my name is Paul Woodward and I'm from Superannuation and Insurances. Earlier on this year, inflation struck, and boy did it strike hard. When we drove past a petrol station, we realised that petrol went from $1.60 to $2.40 overnight. Depending on where you went shopping, if you were to buy an iceberg lettuce, it could cost as much as $10 or $12 just for one lettuce. So inflation has hit hard, and the way the Reserve Bank is working on keeping inflation down is by increasing interest rates. And what we've seen is since the beginning of the year, a massive increase in interest rates. Every month it seems to be going up by 0.5%, and the Reserve Bank is actually still saying that they're going to continue to increase interest rates. And the reason why they've been doing this increase in interest rates is to try and keep inflation down. And what's actually happened as a result is that the share market has started been coming down as well. So we've got increasing inflation, increasing interest rates, and the share market starting to come down. And people are starting to look at the superannuation plans, and they're starting to notice that the value of the superannuation has been eroded away. And they've been and because of the voice from the Reserve Bank saying that they're going to continue to increase interest rates, people are starting to worry that their superannuation is going to continue to come down. And so they've been looking at ways at how they could protect their superannuation. And I've had a lot of people ring me up and ask me if they can buy gold and silver in their superannuation plans. And the simple answer to this is yes, you can. You can buy gold and silver. And there's really two ways you can do this. The first one is to actually set up your own self-managed super fund, and once that super fund's been set up, you go and you buy the physical gold and physical silver. Just remember that when you do set up your superannuation fund, it's another entity that you are responsible for, or another entity you're responsible for, and as a result, there's high compliance, and it's a highly regulated fund as well. So a lot of people still want to get their gold and silver. Some people don't have enough money ready for a self-managed super fund, and they still want to know if there is a way they can get some gold and silver. And the answer is that there's a lot of funds out there that will provide you access to buy what's called an exchange traded fund. And an exchange traded fund in gold and silver is a fund set up to mimic what gold and silver does. So if gold goes up, this fund will go up in value. If gold goes down, this fund will come down in value. So it's just really set to mimic the price of gold and silver. There are a few variables that you need to be aware of, or a few differences you need to be aware of, and there's positives and minuses for some of them. For instance, if you buy physical gold, that can easily be stolen, right? So, you buy gold, someone breaks in and steals your gold. With regards to an exchange traded fund, well, you do pay a fund management fee on that. So, there are pluses and minuses for both of these things. The question is, how safe is everything? Well, as I've just mentioned, with gold and silver, it can be stolen. But what about an exchange traded fund? How safe are these exchange traded funds? And the simple answer is that so long as the integrity of the system that we're a part of, which is Australia, continues to be held up, our funds are as safe as that. If disaster hits and Australia turns out to be a third world country, well, I think we've got more worries than what our exchange traded fund is doing. The next question is, do all superannuation funds, or non-self-managed super funds, do they all allow you to buy gold and silver? And the simple answer to that is no, not all of them do. All superannuation funds have a different trust and different rules and regulations within those trusts. Most personal super funds that I know of, or a lot of them, I can't say most, a lot of them do allow you to purchase gold and silver exchange traded funds, but not all of them. One thing you do need to be aware of though is that all the funds, bar one, have a limit on the amount of gold and silver exchange traded funds you can buy. For instance, it's 30%. So if you are worried about the inflation rate continuing to go up, the interest rates continuing to go up, and the value of your super going down, and you want to protect it by moving it into gold and silver, well, you can only move 30%. So what do you do with the other 70%? Well, you can go 30% gold, 30% silver, but what about the other 40%? And so, as I said, there is one fund I know out there where you can go 100% into gold, a gold electronic traded fund, or silver, or a mixture. So let's have a look at the costs now, all right? So when it comes to the two different costs, right? A self-managed super fund, right? The cost involved in a self-managed super fund is firstly setting up the fund. Now that could be a few $100s to a few $1,000s, depending on the accountant you go and see. Also be aware that this fund needs to be audited all the time, or every year, not all the time, every year. And again, the cost involved of this depends on how much your accountant is going to be charging you. The other thing you need to be aware of as well is that one of the rules within a self-managed super fund is if you buy gold, it has to be stored safely and it can't be on your own premises. So there might be another cost of storing it in a bank vault or at the Perth Mint, wherever. There may be another cost involved in that as well. Now let's have a look at the personal funds and funds out there that allow you to buy exchange traded funds. Well, you need to be aware of administration fees. Then there's fund manager fees as well. There could be advice fees. So there's a whole range of fees that you need to be aware of. But really, since the Royal Commission, if you pay more than 1%, you're probably paying too much. It just depends on what else you want to do with your superannuation fund. So the simple answer is yes, you can buy gold in superannuation. You don't have to set up your own self-managed super fund. You can get an exchange traded fund that will mimic the rise and the fall of gold and silver. And if this is something that you are interested in, please go and speak to your financial advisor. And if you don't have one, hit me up, contact me, and we can have an obligation-free consultation where we can discuss what your needs are. My name is Paul Woodward, and I'm from Superannuation and Insurances.